Core i9-13900K launched at 8 GHz under nitrogen. An enterprising overclocker, I took a 13th generation Intel Core i9-13900K processor and dipped it in liquid nitrogen to achieve a staggering 8 GHz clock speed on all 8 performance cores, P-cores. While clearly impractical, it's an achievement worth noting, given that it's been more than a decade since anyone brought an Intel chip to such frequency heights. If the gigahertz war of yesteryear had continued in earnest, reaching 8 GHz on Intel Silicon would probably have been old news. However, Intel and AMD made a smart move to multi-core computing and focused more on architectural upgrades rather than racing for higher frequencies at the expense of everything else. This doesn't mean that both companies have stopped striving for faster clock speeds, just that it's a different landscape from the netburst era. However, overclocking enthusiasts have made a commitment to extend the MHz-GHz band. In what, older AMD processors dominate the frequency rankings, with the FX 8370 taking the top spot at 8722.8 MHz, 8.72 GHz. By the way, the only Intel processors that make their way into the 8 GHz territory are the old Celeron D352 and Celeron D347 chips, which occupy the 5th and 16th places, respectively. Both of them are parts of Cedar Mill, released back in 2006. There's also the Pentium 4 631 processor, which broke the 8 GHz threshold, with the fastest being 8179.9 MHz. Now it looks like Intel's next generation processors will return to such heights. The guys got a screenshot of CPU-Z showing the unreleased Core i9-13900K running at 8 GHz. According to the website, the upcoming flagship is being tested on the Z790 motherboard. It also says that the unnamed overclocker was easily able to reach the 8 GHz frequency using voltage up to 1792 V and L-in-2 cooling. This overclocking isn't for the faint of heart, we're seeing extreme cooling and a big power surge. However, the overclocker is confident that 8 GHz will be the minimum for extreme overclocking attempts on the Core i9-13900K. And that significantly higher clock speeds should be expected after the launch of Raptor Lake. Another caveat we should mention is that the overclocker has disabled SMT in all efficiency cores, E-cores.